Today I'm going to show you how to make 3 fire starters. We have heated our house with wood ever since I can remember, and it's quite impossible for me at least to start a fire without a proper fire starter. So I'm going to show you how to make fire starters so it'll help you save the time as well. So fire starter number 1 is that we get pine cones and we dip them in wax, and that's it. It's the most simplest thing. Quick note, don't worry about having wax in your fireplace. We have done this for many years and we've never had a problem. It burns straight off. You don't have to worry about it all like condensing in the bottom of your fireplace. It'll all burn off. So to get started with this is you just need to get a pan. We have our wax pan that has been used over the years, so you want to have one that you're not going to use again. And then you get wax. We get wax by the pound from a candle shop. You can buy it in bulk by the pound, or you can get old candles and break off the glass and melt that down. If you're going to use wax from candles, all you need to do is get a bag, reinforce it a bit, put the candle in there, and then smack away the glass. And then just, there it goes a little bit. Do it a few more times. And I can feel it cracking. There we go. Be careful of the glass. As you can see, I have a few candles here, then they're ready to get melted down. The other things that you're going to need for this is pine cones. We are lucky enough to live only 30 minutes from the forest, so we just go and gather them there. You don't have to let them dry or anything. They're just ready to go as is. And then you need some tongs to move them around in the wax and then take them out. And then just a glove. Now to prepare your area, you're going to want cardboard. We've done a plastic mat before. Newspaper also works, but it's best to have something a little bit more underneath that newspaper because it will still seep through. We've got the wax all melted down and we got our pile of pine cones. So all you need to do is dip them in the wax, put them to the side, let them dry, and they're ready to go. So we have our tongs. I'm going to put on my glove, not so much for getting burnt on the wax because you won't really be touching the wax. It's just for the pokiness of the pine cones themselves. So we can get pine cone, put a few of them in there, turn them around a bit. I kind of let it drain off, but it doesn't really matter. It'll all dry the same way. And place them to the side. I'll put my next batch in there, and you don't have to have these 100% covered. So yeah, you can see that one's not quite covered, but that will still work just as great. We got the pine cones all dipped. You can see it made 2 pretty sizable baskets full. That was about a bag full of pine cones, and the amount of wax was probably about 3 candles, and then we had a chunk of wax about this big. As you can see, I do want to re-clarify, it does make a bit of a mess. So you are going to want to have the cardboard or a plastic mat so it doesn't seep through to your table. Another plus is not only do they start your own fires, but they're great for gifts. We have given, last year we gave gifts to all of our neighbors, and then we also got gifts from our other neighbor on different fire starters. And that's actually some of the other fire starters that we decided to make today. So they're great for gifts and very practical to use. So for the second fire starter, we have a cardboard egg carton. We have some lint from our dryer, and then we have some leftover bark from just our wood pile. And what you will do is you can get the lint, put it in the little pods with a little bit of bark, and then we'll pour the wax on top of that, and that will be an excellent way to start your fire. We've got the egg carton filled with lint and the bark. You can really cram that lint in there because it'll give it more substance to burn. And you get your ladle, and we will pour the wax over top. You can get quite a bit of wax in there, especially since it has its own little bowl built into the egg carton. And just pour it right over there. Very nice. And we'll let that dry, and then we have scissors and we'll cut the little pods out individually. All the wax is dry, so we can go ahead and cut out the pods. So we'll first get off the lid and get that set to the side. Then go from each one and cut them out individually. And once you get to a point, you should be able to just tear it off a little bit. So there we have one. And then we have another. Now I'll go ahead and cut these out. Firestarter number 3. This one is a variation and an alternative to the egg carton Firestarter. You'll get paper cupcake holders, and then you will put some of the lint and some of the bark, and then drizzle the wax on top of that. This one will be a little bit more messy. You could get a cupcake tin from the thrift store and use that to put your starter in. We did not have an extra cupcake tin on hand because we knew that if you use that, you're not going to be able to use it again for any baking purposes. And this is not our go-to fire starter. Our go-to fire starter is the pine cones, specifically because those are on hand to us nearby. But this will be just as great of a starter, so we'll get the wax and pour that over it. We've got our wax ready to go. We have a few of our little lint cupcakes ready to go, and we can go ahead and drizzle the wax over top of them. So you want to have a ladle would be good, and then just do a little bit of a drizzle. I'll probably go around a few times to let it soak on in there. So I think on a few of them I didn't get quite as much, so I'm going to just give a little bit more. And that's definitely why you're going to want to have cardboard or something that's a bit thick, because as you can see there's definitely a bit of runoff with your wax. And there we have it. We have 3 different fire starters. We have the egg carton, we have the paper tin, and then we have the pine cones. The pine cones are our favorite. But also, we want to learn what your favorite is. So in the comments, please leave us any fire starters that you have used. And just thank you so much for watching. We'll also show you how well these work in a minute. And we would really appreciate you hitting the like button and the subscribe button. Thank you for watching DIY on the House.